Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting up to speed on, well, some pretty complex stuff.
That's right. And today we're tackling two areas that seem really different at first glance.
Yeah, on one hand, you've got the tech inside your gadgets, the computer chips, getting smaller faster.
Incredibly so. We're talking silicon, transistors, the absolute bedrock of our digital world.
And then the other side, it's you, your own biology. The fundamental process is happening inside your body right now.
And the amazing thing is, these two worlds, they're actually starting to merge in some really profound ways.
Exactly. So that's our mission for you today. We want to unpack the latest leaps in chip technology. I mean, truly mind-bending stuff.
And then show how that very technology is opening up new ways to, well, understand and even interact with your own biology. Think biophotons, bioelectricity.
The Internet of Bio-Nano things. Wild concepts.
Absolutely. It's not just about faster phones anymore. This is about technology weaving itself into life itself.
So let's dive in. Okay, let's start with the chips. The invisible engine, really.
Yeah. Right. And you always hear about Moore's Law, don't you?
Constantly. Usually it's someone saying it's dead or dying.
Yeah, our sources say it's been declared dead more than 20 times, but, in Silicon Valley, it seems very much alive.
So what's the reality? How small are we getting?
Well, we're already manufacturing at the 2-nanometer scale, which is just tiny.
2 nanometers. Hard to even picture.
And there's a roadmap. They're projecting down to 0.2 nanometers by 2037, maybe even further beyond that.
0.2. That's practically counting atoms. How?
It all comes down to the transistor, that tiny invention, as one source called it.
The fundamental switch.
Exactly. For 50 years, it's powered, well, everything you use. Your phone, laptop, AI, like ChatGPT, it all runs on these.
These nanoscopic switches flipping on and off billions of times a second.
Billions. It's the core engine. Think about NVIDIA's Blackwell GPU, 28 billion transistors.
Which sounds like a lot.
Until you hear about their next platform, Rubin. They're talking about 1.3 quadrillion transistors in a single server rack.
Quadrillion. That number almost doesn't mean anything. It's just vast.
It has to be, though, because there's this gap everyone's trying to bridge.
What gap is that?
AI capabilities. They're doubling roughly every 7 months, so about 3.4 times faster each year.
Okay, incredibly fast.
But the hardware, the chips, they're only improving performance by about 1.4 times a year.
Ah, I see. So AI software is outpacing the hardware it runs on.
Significantly. That's why every little improvement in chip design is so critical.
So how are they squeezing more out? It can't just be making things smaller anymore, can it?
Not just smaller, no. It's about architecture. Remember the early days? Simple, flat, 2D transistors. Plano.
Right. The easy days, maybe?
Sort of, but they hit limits. So the first big shift was FinFET.
FinFET. Okay, break that down.
Imagine the channel where the electricity flows. Instead of being flat, they raised it up vertically, like a little fin.
Okay, like a shark fin.
Exactly like a shark fin.
Yeah.
And the gate, the part that controls the flow, could then wrap around 3 sides of that fin. So more surface area for control.
Better control, less leakage, and you could pack them denser. It kept Moore's Law rolling for quite a while.
Clever. So what comes after the fin? What's next?
The next big thing, and it's arriving like right now, basically, is gate-all-around, GAA, sometimes called nanosheet.
Gate-all-around, okay.
So instead of a vertical fin, picture laying the fin on its side and then stacking multiple thin sheets, one on top of the other, like floors in a tiny building.
Okay, horizontal sheets stacked up.
And the crucial part, the gate now wraps around all 4 sides of each sheet.
Not just 3, but all 4. Even tighter control.
Immensely better control, especially at these tiny scales. And the density boost is huge. TSMC's new N2 process using GAA. They're talking 300 million transistors per square millimeter.
Wow. Up from 200 million with the last generation.
Yep, that's a mind-blowing leap, as one source put it. You'll likely see this in high-end chips like for AMD and Apple, maybe even by the end of this year.
Incredible. So we've got better gates, but you also need power, right? How's that changing? Ah, yes. This is another really clever innovation. Backside power delivery.
Backside, meaning not on the top.
Exactly. Traditionally, all the wires for power, for signals, they're all laid on top of the chip, fighting for space with the transistors themselves.
Right, gets crowded up there.
Very. So this genius idea is to reroute the power delivery network. Move those power wires to the backside, the underside of the silicon wafer.
Okay, so what does that achieve?
It frees up a ton of valuable real estate on the top surface. All that space can now be dedicated just to the logic gates and the interconnects between them.
So it's like moving the plumbing and electrical conduits out of the main living space of the chip.
That's a great analogy. It's a total redesign, and sources say it is going to power everything, starting probably next year.
Big deal.
Okay, so FinFET, then GAA, now backside power. What's even further down the road, say when we hit 1 nanometer?
Right, around 1 nanometer or 10 angstroms. The next projected step is CFE, complementary FET-T.
CFT, what's the concept there? Think about those GAA nanosheet devices. CFET basically involves stacking them, not just side-by-side sheets, but stacking entire GAA structures one on top of the other.
Whoa, building vertically, like chip skyscrapers.
Just like the skyscrapers, exactly, growing vertically. This could allow scaling down to single angstrom dimensions.
Single angstroms.
And it should significantly help with packing in SRAM memory more densely, which is a growing problem.
Right, the memory issue. We'll come back to that. But first, materials. Are we sticking with silicon forever?
Probably not forever. The roadmap anticipates a move towards 2D FETs, using actual 2D materials in the channel.
2D materials, like what?
Things like molybdenum disulfide, tungsten disulfide, materials where the functional layer can be just 1 atom thick.
1 atom thick.
That's pretty much the ultimate limit for thinness, right? The end game in semiconductors, some call it.
There's always a but.
The big open challenge is manufacturing. These materials are incredibly delicate, hard to work with at scale without defects.
Makes sense. Any other material candidates? I've heard about carbon nanotubes.
Yes, CNTs, carbon nanotubes. Rolled up sheets of graphene, essentially. Very attractive because they promise high speed and current at low voltages, better power efficiency.
Sounds ideal. What's the catch there?
The catch is they are really hard to turn them off completely. They tend to leak current even when they're supposed to be idle.
Leakage. Not good for power consumption.
Not at all. So one idea being floated is something called CMOS.0.
CMOS 0.0. What's that?
It's more of an architectural idea. Instead of one single chip trying to do everything with one type of transistor, imagine a chip built like a sandwich, different layers.
Okay.
And different technologies will be used for different layers of functions. Maybe one layer optimized for AI using advanced silicon, another layer for graphics using something else, maybe even CNTs if the leakage can be managed for that specific function.
Tailoring the tech to the task, layer by layer.
Kind of, yeah. Moving away from just one flat chip, trying to be perfect at everything.
You mentioned SRAM and memory being a problem earlier. The memory wall, can you expand on that?
Sure. It's a growing bottleneck. Your compute power is skyrocketing with these new transistors.
Right.
But memory, especially the fast SRAM that sits right on the chip with the processors, it doesn't scale that well with these new architectures like GAA and CFE. Meaning it takes up proportionally more and more chip area. Eating up more and more area, as one source said, and it's power hungry. Even DRAM, the main memory, is going 3D, stacking layers, but it's still fundamentally slower than the processors are becoming.
So getting data to the processors quickly enough is the challenge.
It's a huge challenge, especially for AI, which moves massive amounts of data.
This whole process sounds incredibly complex. Multiple companies involved.
Oh, hugely. You've got innovators like IMEC developing the core technologies, then manufacturers like TSMC building them at scale. You need companies like ASML making the super advanced lithography machines, the high-NA EUV tools.
Right, the machines that print the patterns.
And then Applied Materials providing tools for pretty much every step of the process. It's a whole ecosystem. And yes, it means wafers get more expensive.
But also creates opportunities, I guess.
Definitely. More opportunity for investors in these high-growth spaces.
So this foundation, this ability to build with such precision, like your source said, building a skyscraper out of blocks the size of a grain of dust, aligned with angstrom-level precision.
It's mind-boggling, really.
This is what's enabling the next frontier we need to talk about, the biological one. Okay, shifting gears now.
Yeah.
From silicon to your biology.
And specifically to some perhaps less familiar aspects of it, like light.
Light inside us.
Yes, we're talking about your human biofield. Now, this isn't some mystical concept. Our sources describe it as an anatomical reality.
Okay.
Generated by your own internal bioelectricity and also ultra-weak photon emission.
Biophotons.
Biophotons, actual light particles produced by our bodies.
Exactly. And there's some fascinating research here. Back in 1984, Dr. Peter Garyaev observed something called the DNA phantom effect.
What happened?
He had DNA in a chamber, measured light patterns around it, Then he removed the DNA. The light molecules, also known as photons, continued to act as if the DNA was still there. They held the shape, the pattern, for up to 30 days.
That's hard to believe. Light remembering the structure of DNA.
It's a startling finding. And then Dr. Fritz Albert Popp showed that DNA in our living cells actually store and release photons.
So DNA interacts with light directly.
It seems so. These biophotonic emissions, Popp suggested, might hold the key to illness and health, maybe even life itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between healthy and sick cells?
Apparently, yes. The research indicates that sick cells produce less light than healthy cells.
A measurable difference.
That's incredible. It implies light is somehow fundamental to cellular health.
It really does.
Yeah.
Consider this. A single human DNA molecule is estimated to contain about 1,000 photons.
You have something like 93 trillion DNA molecules in your body. Do the math.
We should be glowing.
You'd think so. It's an astonishing amount of potential light energy within us. It even connects to everyday things, like sunlight boosting serotonin, helping chemical reactions for healing. Light clearly interacts with our biology.
So if our bodies use light and electricity internally, can we tap into that?
That's exactly where the Internet of Bio-Nano Things comes in, the IOBNT.
Bio-nano things. Tiny devices inside us.
That's the vision. Imagine tiny devices inside your body that can monitor things, detect diseases, and maybe send the information directly to your doctor, real time.
Connecting ourselves to the internet.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Using molecular communication, biosignals, bridging the biological and the digital.
This sounds like the ultimate personalized medicine. Healthcare 5.0, precision AI healthcare.
Precisely. It leans heavily on omics, genomics, proteomics, metabolomics.
Measuring all the biological molecules.
Right. Characterizing you at a deep molecular level. Then using that data, plus AI, to tailor healthcare specifically to your genomic considerations, your lifestyle, everything.
Leading to more accurate diagnoses, effective treatments, continuous monitoring.
That's the goal. And it's not entirely science fiction. Sources mention the Department of Defense has been working on digital twins of human bodies for 50 years.
Digital twins, like a complete simulation.
Aiming for that, yeah. Every molecule, cell, tissue, and organ. For things like remote patient monitoring and maybe even behavior modification.
Behavior modification, that sounds a bit unsettling.
It raises questions, definitely. And the idea extends to using the body itself as a network. Human body communication, or HBC.
Using our own electrical field.
Yes, like NTT's red tactin technology. It uses the minute electric field on your skin to send data, up to 10 megabits per second.
Through clothes, shoes.
Apparently, yes, a human area network.
So this isn't just medical implants, it connects to wearables too.
Absolutely. Wireless body area networks, WB bands, these are global standards covering implantable, injectable, ingestible, and wearable devices.
My smartwatch, health apps.
They're all part of this emerging ecosystem, collecting data, influencing habits, potentially even linking into things like a bio-tokenized economy, though that's more speculative.
Let's zoom in on the brain.
Yeah.
How does light play a role there?
That's the field of neurophotonics. Optics meets neuroscience.
Using light to study the brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using light-based technologies, fancy microscopes, spectroscopy, imaging to probe brain structure, function, and activity in amazing detail.
And optogenetics, I've heard that term.
That's even more direct. It's a technique that actually lets scientists control your neurons with light.
Control neurons with
Yeah.
light.
It allows for incredibly precise manipulation of neural networks, mainly in research now, but the potential is huge.
What about reading brain activity, brain-computer interfaces?
BCIs. That field's also been around for 50 years, believe it or not, and it's getting sophisticated. Some systems can now decode aspects of your private inner speech while you're thinking.
All inner thoughts.
Aspects of them, yes. And look at precision neuroscience founded by ex-Neuralink people.
What are they doing?
They just set a record deploying over 4,000 electrodes onto the brain's surface during surgery. For super high-resolution mapping, their stated goal, raising people's abilities in ways previously unimagined.
Enhancing human abilities. That's a big leap.
It is, but there are also clear clinical aims, better diagnostic tools, potential therapies for neurological and psychiatric disorders using these light-based and electrical interfaces.
Which brings us to AI's role in all this, especially in healthcare.
Right. Take the OM1 platform. It has a mental health network with data from over 1 million patients.
Wow, that's massive.
And they use advanced AI to analyze clinical notes, looking for patterns in depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, extracting insights humans might miss.
Interesting. And you mentioned a potential link between bioelectricity and mental states.
Yeah, there's some research noted in our sources suggesting that disrupting the body's bioelectral homeostasis, its stable electrical state, can actually cause symptoms resembling bipolar or schizophrenia.
Implying external factors could potentially influence mental state through bioelectricity.
It's a concerning implication, as one source puts it. Needs much more research, of course, but it highlights how interconnected these systems are.
AI isn't just analyzing data, though. It's getting embodied. Humanoid robots are suddenly everywhere.
They really are. And becoming more capable quickly, there's the OpenMind OM1OS.
An operating system for robots.
Yeah, open source, hardware agnostic. The goal is a hive mind of connected machines. Robots that can securely share what they learn. One robot learns a skill, instantly transfers it to others.
A shared robot consciousness, almost.
Kind of, and it just got $20 million in funding. Then you have consumer bots, like Engine AI's SAO2.
How much for one of those?
Around $5,300. It's designed for personality companionship. It uses a large language model to shape its personality based on your interaction.
A robot companion that learns from me.
And they're getting more emotionally intelligent, too. The new GR3 CareBot has a full perception multimodal interaction system.
Neating.
It processes emotion in real time, responds to touch, voice, gaze, designed to feel familiar, not industrial.
It's all moving so fast. AI training itself, too.
Yeah, these AI villages, where AI agents are given tasks, work together, learn unsupervised. They've raised thousands for charity, run online stores, all autonomously learning in their own private library.
Okay, back to biophotonics for a moment. We've talked future, but how is it used today in medicine?
Oh, it's already widely present, that pulse oximeter on your finger. Biophotonic.
Measures blood oxygen with light, right?
Yep. Many types of microscopes for blood tests, food analysis, UV light for sterilizing equipment, endoscopies, colonoscopies using light and cameras to see inside you.
Makes sense. What about in surgery?
Crucial for surgical guidance, helping surgeons avoid hitting nerves or blood vessels they shouldn't, and procedures like LASIK eye surgery.
Huge numbers there.
700,000 a year in the U.S. That's light sculpting your cornea. Or lithotripsy, using lasers to break up kidney stones.
So diagnostics, guidance, direct intervention, any therapeutic uses.
Definitely. Photomodulation, using specific light wavelengths for things like acne or wound healing, in sports medicine for pain relief, reducing inflammation.
Light as therapy.
On even more targeted, photodynamic therapy, or PDT. You introduce a light-sensitive drug that collects in, say, cancer cells. Then you shine a specific light on it.
And it activates the drug just there.
Exactly. Killing targeted cells, bacteria, fungi, cancer. It's incredibly precise. The market impact is already huge. Biophotonics is a $73 billion slice of the medical imaging market.
73 billion.
Yeah, sources say that's much larger than the radiological world. X-rays, CT scans, MRIs. So light is already a massive player in healthcare.
And it's still evolving. You mentioned waveguides made of cells.
Right. This is really cutting edge, developing biophotonic waveguides formed from cells like red blood cells or yeast cells even.
Using our own cells to guide light. Why?
They can act as tiny probes for sensing, imaging deep inside tissues, tracking cellular processes. They can help overcome limited penetration depth of light, which is a big challenge.
And biolasers.
Using biological entities, cells, tissues, viruses as part of the laser cavity itself creates incredibly sensitive sensors.
Wow. And hydrogels, how do they fit in?
Hydrogels. These are interesting materials. They can act as waveguides, but also potentially force your cells into molecular submission when triggered by light or electricity.
Force cells.
Yeah, like forming communication networks out of your own tissue. It's paving the way for concepts like biosilicon synergetic intelligence systems.
That sounds intense. What does that involve?
Well, research fusing human cortical organoids, mini brains grown in labs with rat brains, using carbon nanotube electrodes to improve the connection, merging biological and artificial intelligence.
Mind-blowing stuff. Understanding this convergence. The chip tech, the nano networking, the photonics. It feels crucial.
It really is. It touches everything from your future healthcare to maybe even your personal autonomy.
So let's try to wrap this up. We've gone from the incredibly small transistors measuring atoms wide, driving our digital world,
To the equally incredible discovery of light and electricity functioning deep within our own biology.
and the main takeaway is that these two worlds, silicon and cells, they aren't separate anymore. They're converging fast.
Yeah, the power unlocked by those advanced chips is directly enabling this new biological frontier. Connecting cells to the internet, AI intertwined with health. It's happening.
The whole idea of connection is changing, isn't it? It's moving beyond just devices in our hands or homes.
And potentially into the fabric of life itself, into our bodies, maybe even our minds.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question, maybe a provocative thought for you to consider.
As these lines blur, as technology understands and interacts with our biology more deeply, what does it mean?
How do we navigate a future where our internal biological signals, maybe even our inner thoughts, could become data points in a vast network?
What happens to privacy, to agency? What does human well-being even look like in a world that's becoming increasingly augmented?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.